Good morning. I read about a lady the other day online. Her name was Florence May Chadwick, and she was a long distance swimmer. Probably her most noted accomplishment was that she was the first woman to swim the English Channel in both directions. She also successfully swam many other long distance events. However, I also read in her biography that in 1952, she attempted to swim from the Catalina Islands to the California coastline. This is a distance of 26 miles. Well, after swimming for about 15 hours, in true California fashion, the heavy fog rolled in and she began to think that she couldn't make it. She pushed on for another hour or so, and then she asked to be pulled out. She was giving up. She was quitting. What she didn't realize and what she couldn't see due to the fog was that land was only 1 mile away. She had quit just 1 mile short of the finish line, the California coast. Why? Because she couldn't see the shore. She got discouraged because she couldn't see how much further she had to go. Right now, I feel we are a little bit like Florence Chadwick, swimming through the thick fog of COVID-19. We have wildfires raging all around us, and we might feel ready to quit. We just can't see how this will ever end. We can't see the shore. But I want to encourage you today not to quit. The Bible actually gives us several things we should do when we feel like we want to quit. Give up. Or as the Bible puts it, to faint. Here's what the Bible tells us to do. Number 1, remember God. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord. Jonah 2, verse 7. Jonah was in the belly of the whale at this point. He was about as low as you could go. And when he reached the bottom, when he had nowhere else to turn, when he was powerless over his situation, what did he do? He remembered God. Are you as low as you can go? Do you feel you have nowhere else to turn for help? Are you powerless over your life situation? Remember God. When Jonah remembered God, here's what he did next. And here's what we should do next when we feel like quitting. Next, pray and cry out to God. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came in unto thee into thine holy temple. Jonah 2:7. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. Luke 18, verse 1. Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. Then they cried unto the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. Psalms 107, verses 5 through 6. When you feel you are fainting or about to quit, pray and cry out to God. Abraham Lincoln said this, I have been driven many times upon my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of all about me seemed insufficient for the day. What a wise man who knew where to go when he had nowhere else to go. He went to God in prayer. I never understand why we wait until it's almost too late to get on our knees. Before you feel like quitting, you should get on your knees, but especially when you feel like quitting, get on your knees. Number 3, we should look at God's goodness when we feel like quitting. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 27, verse 13. All throughout the Bible, we see God's goodness and his provision for his people. He has not changed. When you are discouraged, down, when you want to quit, remember what God has done for you. Get out a book, a pen, and write down what God has done for you. You'll be surprised at how many things you can list when you really start thinking about your blessings. God will provide and take care of you. He promised he will, and he always keeps his promises. You can trust him to do what he said he will do. Next, if you feel like quitting, you should ask God for power. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint. And to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Isaiah 40, verses 28 through 29. God gives power to those who feel they are going to quit. When you feel you cannot make it one more day, ask God for power. He will increase your strength when you have no might. Hudson Taylor said this: many Christians estimate difficulty in the light of their own resources, and thus they attempt to do very little, and they almost always fail. All spiritual giants have been weak men who did great things for God because they reckoned on his power and presence to be with them. Number 5, we should wait on God if we feel like quitting. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40, verses 30 through 31. When your back is to the wall and you have nowhere to go, wait on God. When you're at the bottom and you can't look anywhere but up, wait on God. Well, what does it mean exactly to wait on God? There could be 2 meanings to this, I believe. One meaning that the dictionary gives for the word wait is to rest in expectation and patience. So you could say be patient and expect God to work everything out in his time and in his way. However, another definition the dictionary gives is this: to wait on or upon, to attend as a servant or a waiter at a table. So in this definition, then we could see that the verse could mean that even though we are young, we will get tired and weary, and sometimes we will fall. If we continue to wait on God like a waiter waits on a table, he will give us the strength to make it through the trial without quitting. You just keep serving God, and he will give you strength. Number 6, when you feel like quitting, remember what Jesus went through for you. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down on the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be weary and faint in your minds. Hebrews 12, verses 2 through 3. I noticed from that last phrase, faint in your minds, that quitting starts in your mind. If you think about quitting for too long, you will. We need to look to Jesus and consider what he did for us so we won't quit. When we stop and think about all that our beloved Savior went through while on this earth and while dying on the cross, it should give us a firm resolve to keep going. Don't quit. When you feel you can't handle one more day, look to Jesus. Look at what he endured for you. The verse that I quote often when I get discouraged and I feel defeated and I am tempted to quit and give up, I quote this: if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Proverbs 24, verse 10. Memorize it. And when the thought of quitting pops into your mind, quote it until it leaves. If Florence Chadwick just knew that the California shoreline was only a mile away, she never would have quit. Remember in Luke chapter 5, the story of the disciples who were out fishing and they had fished all night and caught nothing? They were hanging up their nets and quitting for the night. And what did Jesus do? He came to them and he told them to cast their nets on the other side. We all know how that story ends. Victory was on the other side of the boat. And your victory may be just a few feet away. Don't quit. Although we can't see it through all the fog, the shoreline is only a mile away.